wanted to go to the Google Earth exercise on the landslide in Italy of where they built this dam, and they so here we're in the Alps in northern Italy, and the slide scarp is up over here, right on Mount Talk. And then what happened here is, if we kind of zoom out here, let's see if I can. Yeah, here's what I want to do right here. So there's a dam they built in the 1960s, and in 1960 and in 63, this slide occurred where it slid on a weak layer of shale. And one thing I want you to note here is the vegetation can tell us that the strata over here are nearly horizontal, but as we move over to the mountain over here, you see how they kind of curve up here, which is telling us that the strata is inclined. They're dipping parallel to the slope. See, these strata are dipping here. And this is a weak layer of shale, right? So when they built the dam here, the water table, which was once much lower down over here, the water table had to go up to the level of the reservoir up here. So when the water table let up, it saturated this weak layer of clay right here, right? So this weak layer of clay became weak and eventually just slid down. I forget the volume, but an enormous volume of material came into this reservoir, causing a wave to wash over the dam and really flood the town and wash away about 1,500 people down here in 1963. Other thing I want to point out, this problem 4A2 points to all these hummocks. This is a debris slide here, and these are all the hummocks that resulted from this sliding scarp over here. So that's problem 4. Problem 3 deals with a slide in near Jackson Hole, Wyoming, which is that one where we developed the slide lake. So here we're looking at the scarp up in here, and then here's a hummocky part over here. And the fact that, let's zoom out a little bit here. In fact, let's move this to the north here. So we're seeing north, and then we'll zoom out. So here's our slide. The slide moved from south to north, and the river that was traveling through here was moving from east toward west because the water piled up on the east side. So that's one of the questions they ask. And the way we know that is because the water is on this upstream side, piling up behind the debris pile, which essentially made a dam on the river. So that was problem 3. Let's look at problem 2. Problem 2 is looking at, I think it's looking at La Conchita landslide near Santa Barbara. Pretty devastating landslide which claimed a life of a couple of girls in a home right in here. But here's a slide block right here, and this was in fact they call it a mudslide, but it was more of a debris slide, right, or rock slide that actually moved pretty quickly. There's a video of this that it was moving, and it slid in a matter of seconds, 15 to 18 seconds. This whole material came down upon these homes. Some of the questions they ask, let's look at this 2B. So for 2B, obviously we have an older slide in here, right? That's an older slide. And then 2C, I think they ask you, would you buy a house right in here? And no, I don't think I'd want to buy a house here because of this steep slope. And the problem that's going on here is, first of all, you have this road. So when they built the road, they oversteepened the slope here. By oversteepening the slope, you weaken the slope, which could have aided in this landslide, right? So, and the other one is we have this agriculture up on top here. In fact, that's one of another cause is the irrigation up here also caused more water, which weakened this slope. So there are several factors that went into, and also there's very little vegetation holding these slopes up here. So there's a question asking about that. And finally, problem 1 deals with Portuguese Bend near Palos Verdes Peninsula here in Southern California, near Los Angeles. And this is a pretty large slide block on Highway 1. Let's just zoom in here. All right, so here's the Portuguese Bend. And we're looking at the scarp right in here. It's a pretty large block. And there's several problems going on here. You know, they built this road here, which oversteepened the slope. That's a problem right there. You can see all these kind of closed depressions. These are all hummocks. So this one's pretty straightforward, but several problems going on with this one here. All right, well.